We are recording with Yosef Housekeeping Oltmann on Thursday, November 21st, 2024 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, you guys can go to the description. You can find his podcast on Frank's Beach. You can go get a link to this here bathrobe or these here slippers on mypillow.com, promo code TPC, or you can go get some DCF guns or DCF buns. But so I was just saying, it wasn't stolen, and you're saying no, it is stolen. The election is still stolen. So because
100%.
we have a limited amount of time or a finite amount of time, um, please illuminate how it was because I know, yeah, they're still counting. They're still counting. So could you maybe shed some light on that? You froze up. You there? I don't know what just happened. What in
Uh-oh.
name? Are you back?
I'm back.
What happened?
You
I
said
think
that
that was on me. I think that was
yeah.
on. That was weird. I'm gonna refresh everything. Yeah, that was very weird. As soon as I stopped talking, it just froze. That's all right. Well, I don't know what that was, so I don't know how much got through. So we were just talking beforehand about how the election was still stolen. So
Yeah.
could you maybe shed some light on that? Because it is November 21st. The election was what, 15 days ago?
16 days ago, but who's counting? 16 days and they're still finding new ballots and they're flipping seats,
Hmm.
Senate seats, rep seats, and they're flipping them by just going out and just having new ballots printed. You have people that are now suing the Supreme Court justice for, I forget what state it was, sued because they found 60,000 ballots, dead people, people that didn't register, people that it's crazy. Here's my problem. They think we're stupid and we keep putting up with it and they just need to be punched in the mouth. I'm just gonna say it. These people need to go to prison for the rest of their lives. And stealing elections and stealing ballots is not a victimless crime. They
No.
they act as if it's okay. Like you can commit these fraudulent acts. It's it's literally the equivalent of murder and rape. Stealing elections is the equivalent of both of those things because there are people that lose their lives as a result of what I call the butterfly effect of this ethos of slavery. And that's what it is. It's ethos of slavery. You have Biden that is appointing all of these federal judges in the last bit. I think it's like 230 or 240 of them. These are all demons. These are all really leftist ideologues that literally the only thing they care about is destroying our country and punishing anyone that they see aligns with goodness. So we've got to figure out a way to stop the election fraud, which means you're gonna. And I'm in the final stages of a really, really, really powerful white paper. It's like here's here's what it looks like. And I thought I'd have it done on Monday. I keep walking through and keep making enhancements to it. But paper ballots in person, no mail-in ballots at all, no machines, none. Precinct counting, precincts should be no more than 7,000. Matter of fact, there isn't a precinct that is bigger than 7,000. And localized counting. Simple. You eliminate 50 to 60% of the issue. Elongate the election time to vote 2 weeks, 2 weeks of early voting. Allow for ADA requirement for mail in ballots that you have to register for. Okay. Because this is a very important thing. Like this, the most sacred thing that we have is your vote. Okay. 2 weeks before the early voting, the U.S. military gets to vote. Same thing, set up precincts inside of every military base, both here and overseas. Allow for UOCAVA or online ballot decisions to be made on a state by state basis using email when no other source is available. In other words, special ops, people that are in the field that need to have access to being able to be heard. Okay. Simple. And you show up in person. And then the voting day, the day of voting, is a federal holiday.
Yes.
We give dead presidents and all sorts of other people, we give gay people a day. we can give voting day a day,
Yeah.
right? So those are the things that you're going to have. We're going to have to do. We're going to have to get to. It's a system architecture is simple. State by state, 50 states, you have the ability on paper to do everything that if you want to use a tabulator and then a secondary hand recount, no problem. But no risk limited audit, none of this jiggy jack black box, send it over here, knock on your head, rub on your belly. None of that all goes away. And we get straight to the reality, straight to figuring out what the voices of the people. Here's what you're going to find out. It's not a 50-50 country. It's not a 50-50 country. You got 20% of these people that are derelicts and 80% that are just, the whole country is going to turn red. Even places like Chicago turn red. Red. I mean, bright red. You get rid of the corruption and the grift and the graft that we have inside of our society, and everything returns to normal. Everything.
It's the it's going up the cascading effects of what can you fix to do the most good. And I really do think above everything else, truly above everything, even above as important as I think it is, well, border would go hand in hand with it, is voting integrity. And there's no such thing as a silver bullet. And you also don't want to just aim for one thing. You have 4 years. But the apex goal should be voter integrity, should be voting ID requirements, everything the white paper and more, and all of that. And I would also say you got to keep records of it too. You got to be able to do there shouldn't be some timeline of it. You got to do the audit before, 15 days and four out. No, no, no. It should be for as long as needed.
And if you want to get access to ballots, and you want to hand count them yourself and you want to audit it on a precinct by precinct basis, God bless you.
Yeah.
Come on in. Come on in.
Do the top down, do the cameras they have in casinos. Just do top down. You don't have to zoom in on people's names, but just top down, go to the casino, you put your hand out and they go, no, don't touch anything. It's all do that. If you can do that, that will have the longest lasting effect because all routing out of corruption will eventually, it's not being a doomer, it's realist. In time, it will come back in. It's like a Rubik's Cube. People will find out ways to cheat the system. And even if you fix voting in time, it might take a century, but they'll find the most good you can do for the most number of people for the most units of time is voter integrity. That will have the most effect on secondary elections. That will have the most effect on foreign wars because if you start one and the next election people go, no, 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 screw that. It will have the most effect for the most people is voter integrity. You'll have corruption still, you'll have problems. But
do you know how I know that what I'm saying is common sense and that people are actually listening and that it's in plain English right in front of you?
oh,
Do you know how I know that what I'm saying? This is how I know that they think that my voice is very dangerous. This is how I know. Ready?
mhm.
476 AD. Why is that date? Why is that year important?
Something in Rome.
What is it?
I don't know. I think I recognize. I know 476, 1066, 1215, 1492, 1776.
476 AD. I said this literally 3.5 weeks ago on a podcast. I was thinking 3.5 weeks. And now it's made its entire, no one was talking about it, its entire deal. And I was actually reading a book and saw it, and I was like, that makes perfect sense. And it was the fall of Rome. The fall of Rome happened in 476 AD. Do you know why it fell?
Well, isn't it Rome died in the baths? Decadence, pedophilia, food,
Climate change, right? Pedophilia and sexual promiscuity, disease that was caused by that.
rot,
Societal rot.
rot.
Okay. If you read about 476 AD and you read some of these history books that go back, and by the way, that were written in the 4th and 5th century. So these aren't books, by the way, where the publisher's still alive. It was written in 1985 at Columbia University or some university that basically is a cog to the wheel of all the educational standards that are basically out there trying to destroy the world. No, these were written centuries ago. And if you trace it back as to what is happening right now, same playbook. You know how I know the devil exists?
Use the same playbook.
Same, because it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. It worked. Matt Gaetz. Did you hear about this?
Yeah. Why did he take his name out?
Um, he had 4 people that would not confirm him. Yep. So let me go through the what he said though. He said, I had an excellent meeting with senators yesterday. I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that the confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There's no time to waste on the needless, protracted Washington scuffle. Therefore, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I remain fully committed to see that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. I will forever be honored that President Trump nominated me to lead the Department of Justice, and I'm certain he will save America. They're still talking about saving America, which means we haven't done it yet, which means we're on a place in a path of peril. But now we're headed down a place where we're going to get a milquetoast facade. They're only the deep state. And let me just tell you the 4 people that of senators that would not confirm him. Ready? The piece of trash, Mitch McConnell. The piece of trash, Lisa Murkowski. Piece of trash, John Curtis. The piece of trash, Susan Collins. Those are the 4 people that would not support Matt Gaetz. Those 4 people. Those 4 people should might as well just change their affiliation over to Democrat. Those 4 people are absolute trash. They're part of the swamp. And there's probably more. And it's all kabuki theater. Let's make it look like it's close. Everything has to make it look like it's close, right? And now we get milquetoast. Now we get to have to fight again for the next 4 years. We fought for 4 years to get to a place where President Trump goes into office. Now we're going to fight for the next 4 years, identifying all the rhinos while they continue to put in place voting machines and mail-in ballots and try to do everything they can to stop the ridiculousness that we face in our country. And stop. 476 AD. We're repeating it.
What can be done to offset it, prevent it, fix it, marginally change it, all of the
Get the
above?
people. We have to lose our tolerance. We're not patient anymore. There's no patience. We have no desire to be patient. We don't want to sit back. We don't want them to tell us it's complicated. Brother, it is not complicated.
No, it's not.
It is not complicated. You got 4 wheels on a bus. One of them's flat. Take the tire off, put a new tire on, keep going down the road. That's how you solve problems. You service the problem, not the symptom. And yet, over and over and over again, we find ourselves servicing the symptom because we want to be sustainable. Like NATO. NATO was supposed to be disbanded long time ago. Still there. We're still funding it by the billions while people on the street are, doing crack and hanging out, and we want to protect their rights. So let's just legalize it. Let's just legalize drugs. That makes sense. Best way to do it. We don't want to put drug addicts in prison. Let's legalize it. Let them stand up like zombies where their flesh just rots out. Perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Let's give them free needles. Yeah. Oh, and pedophiles, we have to accept them the way they are because, love is love. I mean, it's the absurdity of what we're dealing with because of our patience and the fact that we've let education centers create some sort of philosophy around what's good or bad. It's really simple. It's either good or it's bad. And we can solve these problems very quickly and see what the ethos, most people are good people being run by these slave runners called politicians. Yeah, so I'm a little disgusted if you can't tell. Maybe just a little bit.
No, you're allowed to be, but I also take whatever win we can. That Trump did win. At least there's a fighting chance.
But he's going to need density.
Sure.
None of the things that we said, Tommy, none of the things we said before this are any different.
Mm-hmm.
He still is going to need density. He's going to need people behind him that do not have the tolerance for these political tailwinds or headwinds. Not interested.
On the note of patience, or I mean, you could say that, I know he's not in, but Elon Musk, and then you could say Tulsi and RFK.
Mhm.
Perhaps those are per patients. You could say that they have definitionally probably the least patience because they've shown that they've just moved entirely from the Democrat Party. Do you think that's why he's doing that?
Yeah, maybe.
Because that shows a willingness to move.
What you don't negotiate with evil.
No, 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 no. It's I
But
don't,
see, that's my problem. They want to talk about bipartisanship.
no, fuck that. Excuse me.
Look, if you mix poison with water, what do you get?
Poison water.
You get poison. It doesn't matter if it's water in it, it's poison.
Anything that's more.
I mean, if the second that you add poison to anything, I don't care what the anything is. I got cake. I take poison, I add it to cake. What do you have? Poison.
It's a bipartisan cake. It's mostly icing. There's just some cyanide.
I mean, this is absurd. By the way, while I'm sitting here, I'm going to have some of this Native Path Native Hydrate. By the way, this stuff is so good.
But that
This
looks
stuff
delicious.
for Native Path.
Strawberry, mixed berry.
All right, so can I do like a
Yeah, I
little
don't care.
plug for these guys?
Go
All right.
for
So I'm not plugging them because they pay me to plug them. Okay. They do give me free stuff, and I like their free stuff.
it.
But I got to tell you something. I got poisoned in 2021 at a Clay Clark event, and he lied. The guy died. He lied. They covered it up. A bunch of people got sick. I said, "Here's how you're gonna survive." It was a thing of anthrax. They still say that I had COVID. First of all, and I didn't have COVID. Got tested for COVID. It doesn't matter what the truth is. They're just a bunch of liars. Okay. So because of that, I had to take antibiotics. Apollo's in here too. He had to take it too. So Apollo had to take these high dose antibiotics. I forget what it was called.
Doxycycline.
Doxycycline.
That was not
Zipro.
COVID, bro. That was not COVID.
For 90 days, we had to take this.
Yeah.
Okay. If you take antibiotics for 90 days straight, your system is wrecked.
Yeah.
It's wrecked.
Yeah.
Apollo, your system's still wrecked, huh?
Yeah, I've never recovered from that.
And-
3 years later.
And literally so sick. I'm talking sick. And Apollo went back to on vacation to Michigan, right? For the holidays. And he got sicker because he left his doxycycline back in Colorado. And so I called him and I was like, bro, you got to get back on that stuff. If you don't take this, you're going to die.
Mhm.
And so he got back on the so he got on
Well, I
doxycycline.
didn't have it. I was taking other stuff there, and it did nothing.
He did nothing.
It did nothing at all.
But remember, I went to the doctor. I got a blood test. And they're like, bro, you have a derivative of anthrax. You've been poisoned.
Yeah, foreign biological. Whatever.
Foreign bio, yeah, foreign bio. But because of the symptoms and everything else, they're like, it's anthrax. And it's going to wreck your system. You have to take this doxycycline. Doctor gave me doxycycline, right? Dr. Weber gave me doxycycline and said, you have to take this.
Yeah.
I got better. Apollo didn't. I took it for 90 days. Apollo took it and then stopped taking. He got better and then fell off a cliff and he came back. And what'd you do?
I got better finally. I mean, I was really bad. It was. I was not just sick. I was very sick. Like I could not get up.
And the guy died.
Hmm.
Yeah. This guy called him the frogman
Doug
Doug.
Kuzma.
Yeah. Doug, he died. I tried calling his daughter. I was like, listen, they're like, no, he has COVID. Did you test him for COVID? Yeah. It came back negative. It doesn't mean he doesn't have COVID. I go, he's been poisoned. You have to literally give him doxycycline.
Hospital.
And they didn't. And he died. And by the way, this is all Patrick Byrne was sick. I called and said, look, get on doxycycline. You've been poisoned. I told everyone I did. I got on doxycycline. I got tested. Clay Clark called me and said, you got to tell people that you didn't get poisoned. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I didn't
I
get
have
poisoned.
anthrax in my system.
I mean, in the last 3 months, I have taken this stuff, collagen peptides,
Mm-hmm.
right? I've taken this other stuff that's hydrating you. What happens when your intestinal tract gets wrecked is you get bloating. It's really bad. I mean, you're talk about 3 years of being really uncomfortable. And I had a breakthrough like 2 weeks ago after taking this stuff for what? Well, I don't know, 5, 6 weeks. I have no bloat. I have no issues with my intestinal tract. My doctor's like, you're doing great. I was like, am I? This is crazy.
Will they
This is
sponsor?
nuts.
Will they
Huh?
sponsor me? Will they sponsor me?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, bro. I mean,
What's it called? I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna harass you after this.
it's
What's
native
it?
path. It's
That
native
that
path. What's our thing on this? What's our thing on this for native path?
Nativepath.com/ or getnativepath.com/cd.
Yeah, native path. Get native path, or is it just native path?
Get.
native or native?
Get native NATIVE path PATH.com/CD.
They have
But
to
if they,
sponsor me now.
that's fine. I'll get them to sponsor you. But I'm telling you right now, like I am not.
I'm with you.
I and there's a couple other things that I'm taking, like IGF-1, and I'm doing this. So I started looking at all these things that people sent me. They're like, Joe, will you sponsor us? And I was like, yeah, send it to me. Like this Mineral King called me, sent me a bunch of stuff. His packaging was terrible, but I said I'll try it. So I've been trying stuff that can help with wellness stuff. But this stuff works. I mean, it literally works. And so I was sitting here like, man, I need some hydrate. And we didn't plan
I
this,
will
by
go
the way. I
one
just
step.
want you to
No,
know.
no, no, you didn't. I will go one step. Well, because I am friends with some bioweapons researchers, I'll go one step further, and I'm gonna take anthrax on stream, and then take native.
No, no.
Okay.
This won't stop anthrax.
I know.
Yeah, so
I'm being a retard.
yeah, this just will this heal. It's healing. The collagens actually heal it, and it.
But nonetheless, if there's a poison in the system and you pretend it's something else, regardless if it was a positive or negative test, it's ultimately going to screw you over. Or you can treat it vigorously and attack it, and it's going to be uncomfortable for a period of time, but you'll ultimately survive. See U.S. Republic.
Yeah, so this is where I get into the conspiracies of really bad people, right? And people having the little
Conspiracy.
tinfoil hats. It's a real thing.
It's not a conspiracy. We had demons from hell, fuck children, and steal money in Star Wars. So
Well, and
it's up there with Newton's laws in terms of proven aspects of our reality.
well, and I had a what's it called, a voice message of a person says that we're cursing you.
Like
We're cursing you. And yeah, like witch stuff. And I was like, this is kind of weird.
Try your hardest.
And I was like, I got the blood of Jesus over me. I'm not sure you're gonna get through all that. Sorry.
Go for it.
But I couldn't help but think to myself, maybe there's something to this, like evil, you got to get through it. And then I had this breakthrough, and anyway, I just want you to know that it the left will not stop. This evil will not stop until they destroy everything in front of them.
Correct.
So getting through that is very difficult.
And I think maybe I'm probably like a case study for it in that amongst my, conservative friends and guests, a lot of ex-military guys throughout the history of this podcast, of them, I'm probably the most left. And they kind of shit on me for it. And I always, anyone on the left thinks I'm a Nazi, but in comparison to people I know, I've always been more admittedly naive. I'm like, yeah, let's see what, both sides are. But I'm at a point where I'm finally having the realization of there is nothing noble or honorable about ignoring the depth of depravity. And that's not a
Yeah.
blank statement. I'm not saying if you vote Democrat, you got to go into camp. I'm not saying that. I'm aware of that. But it's also you did not all of them, but I have to look at it and go, there is some very clear aspects of how they cheered on Trump getting shot, how they cheered on felony counts, how none of them care about a stolen election, about how they will do it again, about how they've destroyed the southern border. At a certain point, you have to look at it and go, it's not gonna stop. It is, and it doesn't mean you can't be a Christian. It doesn't mean you can't be a good person. The best analogy I can think of so you and I are cops and we're going out. You and I didn't wake up this morning and go, let's go blast it. No, we're cops and we have families. But if someone's committing suicide by cop, and you can look at them and say, put the gun down, and even if you don't think it's put it down, but ultimately there's a moment where you then have to decide which fork in the road are you going down. Are you going down the road that leaves your kids orphans, or are you going down the road of you have to take a man's life and it sucks and you're gonna have to talk to God about that. But this is someone who's made their choice and they're putting others in danger now. It's a shitty thing, and you wish you didn't have to make the choice, but it's in front of you. I'm at a point now where seeing the clear cover up from the Secret Service of trying to blow Trump's head off on TV, Kennedy in 4K. It is no, if you look at the leaked text of FEMA saying don't go to their house if they have a MAGA flag. If you see what happens in Appalachia, not enforcing laws for South American gangs taking down apartment complexes in your state, at a certain point you have to start looking at it and go, you are not only now stupid, but you're also now betraying your descendants, your children, and your children's children. You're betraying them the land of milk and honey and opportunity that you got to grow up in. And that's how I'm looking at it now. Is I can't, I'm out of patience, and I'm saying this as the guy who I have always been the one where when I start talking, the military guys are like, "God, you're a hippie." I'm saying that is like it takes a lot to move me over to that side, and I'm completely. It's people saying, I wish, oh, why'd they miss? Next time, don't miss. I've never and will never wish death on a politician I don't like. I know people could disagree with me. That's fine. There's a level that is past disagreeing, and it's fundamentally not human, be it abortion or be it saying, oh, I wish they had blown his head off. That is, you're no longer dealing with people. You're dealing with people that, if they want, they can ask God. But they're dealing with people that I don't have patience for, that you don't, and the vast majority of people don't. They don't care. They will not stop. Nothing is sacred. They want your children mutilating their genitals. These are not, this is so far gone now. It's an animal and it's foaming at the mouth. And you have to go, that's not Spot anymore. That's not the family dog. I'm sorry, but that's not the family dog anymore. That's where I am. I I'm out of patience. And I'm a
Yeah.
pretty
So
patient dude.
yeah. So I mean, we just have to get down to talking to people about how to work the problem,
Yeah.
right? And just having less tolerance and stupidity, right? And calling liars liars. We need to learn the vernacular of things that they say and why they do the things that they do. Saul Alinsky has these 11 rules for
What's
radicals, right?
radicals?
Okay. What's number 5?
I don't know. Off the top of my head.
What's number 4? What's number 6?
Blame them what you are guilty of.
No, I believe number 6 is the one where they say that hold them to their standard. In other words, if they say that they're Christian, hold them to the standard of being Christian. So you use their words against them.
Yeah.
Make them have to go retreat on their values because they're fighting against you. You're not allowed to fight because you're a Christian. You turn the other cheek, right? So they use things that create natural conflicts in the hearts and minds of men and women that are just normal ethical people. And what they do is they erode it so much that then they ridicule you and they attack you. And then they use what you're good at, who you are.
Your moral
What do they say about men? What do they say about men that are, not homos, right? You're a cisgender, right? Get out of here. I'm a man. No, you're a cisgender. So now the 1%, these freaks, these farm animals and circus freaks, they get to tell us what we are. And it all starts with education, by the way. You go into Columbia and all these other education standards. And where was DEI created? It was created by a university out of Chicago.
I don't doubt that.
What about critical race theory? Where did that come from?
CRT, cultural Marxism.
But
I don't know where it came.
It came from a university. These are literally the test tubes for evil. And because they're hidden, and because they go under the moniker of education, look, I was going to go on for continued education. I wanted to go really far. I mean, in my mind, I was like, you know what? I remember being on Tufts University's campus and I was giving a speech about AI. This is years ago. And the smell of the school, just the ability to learn so much was euphoric.
I'm still nostalgic about University of Georgia. I love everything about higher education. Seduct. I love it.
It is. It's seductive. It's seductive. The thing that I loved about it most is that I could escape. This is what I love about of learning, period. And this is why people just don't understand how I'm built. The idea of learning for me is so exciting.
Hmm.
Like
Like
it's this
wizardry. It's like wizardry. You're like
it
learning
I'm
chemistry or
learning,
history. You're like learning spells.
and it doesn't even matter to me what you teach me.
No.
Like I was sitting there learning how to do something in a car, on a car, and I was like, this is totally not something I'd ever want to do. But okay, let's tear apart this motor,
Dude,
right?
I watched 3 hours of videos on rocket nozzles last night. My mom was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "I have no idea, but it's amazing."
But the learning aspect of things is to me it's man, I get to learn something new. Like I look at statistics that way, I look at
Mhm.
math that way, I look at system architecture that way. I look at how to work a problem, guns, uh, when I was in the Middle East and Africa, how do you learn how to read people? And I would study it. I would literally study it. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to test this. Look over. I'm like, hey, so tell me. And I'd ask them a question that I already knew the answer to and see if I could read their response based on what they were thinking.
Mhm.
Right. Because you can say, like, why is he asking me this question? You can see those things, those markers in people. You just keep getting better and better and better at it. And so I got really good at it. So then I was like, I'm going to go play poker. You know what happened?
Go make a couple shekels.
I made a bunch of shekels. I would I would go to poker games and I would just clean up. Clean up. And I mean clean up. My friend who lived behind us in a house, he's like, Joe, come over here. And they're like, hey, you guys, you want to play poker? I was like, if I play poker, I'm gonna beat all of you guys and take all your money. And they were like, yeah, okay. So they started bragging about it, like, oh yeah, I'm the world champion, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna crush your face. I just I took all their money, all of it. I took all of it. I mean, literally that day, I looked at the guy and I go, yeah, you're lying. I'm all in. And I'd take his money and he was like, well, how do you know? And he'd look behind him as if I had somebody like spotting for me.
Mhm.
And I didn't. But people literally have microaggressions and that is a real thing, by the way. Micro expressions, microaggressions.
That absolutely
And,
is.
and you can tell just the slightest turn of their mouth, the way they turn their head.
Super slow motion cameras. They'll look
Yeah,
at it sometimes during like testimonies and they'll be able to tell. Just, I mean, really,
100%.
it's like the flexing of like a single fiber, not live.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What's crazy about it is that you there's a difference between when you're in that environment and when you're in an environment where somebody's having a conversation with you. But you literally look at people like, oh, and there was a couple times that I was like, 50-50. I just didn't take chances on 50-50. I don't like 50-50 balls, right? I don't like anything that doesn't give me a distinct advantage, 80% or more. Anyway, so I say that because I don't even know why I said that. What were we talking about?
Test tubes, Ivy Leagues,
Yeah.
DEI.
So they get to
You
do
were
all
at
this
Tufts
crazy stuff.
talking and
Yeah.
you wanted to go into higher learning.
Yeah. And I was like, this is crazy. I truly, that's teaching kids and doing stuff like that. That would be like a dream for me. Right. But the education environment is so rotted at the core that now it just destroys kids' lives, destroys people.
Well, in the same way that the thing they use against you is again the actions of demons. Somebody that looks at you, looks at your faith in Christ, and goes, "I'm going to use that against them." That's something a demon does. You know,
Yeah.
the "thou shalt not." You. That's something a demon. In the same way that it's also the predator that picks on the child and hey, don't tell your parents I'm talking to you. That's what a demon does. In the same way, when a young malleable mind goes to a college like me when I was pre-med, I remember going and interviewing at med schools. You're just like, this is incredible. I'm in a like I can just learn everything. a noble, good person doesn't look at that and go, how can I bastardize this? They go, yeah, go to school, learn, go become a better person. A demon looks at it, goes, oh, they're wide-eyed and they want to learn and they're open to becoming a better person. How can I insert my ideas? That's what demons do. They don't meet you on the battlefield and go, let's fight like a man. They go after the kid, at the school bus stop. They're demons from hell. Of course, they're going to go after something that should be as pure as higher learning. I'm going to go become this. All right, now let's go in there and talk about how bad it is to be a white man. Of course they would. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they?
Well, it sows division, but it also they do it under the guise that they're smarter,
Well, that's the other thing, appeal to
right?
authority.
Yeah, and that's why I hate judges. That's why I think that our entire judiciary is absolute trash. These are elitists that they want to reign over us. They have their own BSDM or BDSM or whatever it's called, a throne in the back somewhere, and they're back there, getting down, getting whipped by their
It
what are they
is
called, their
it is
their
odd.
law clerk.
It is oddly imitate. They're trying to imitate like the almost the
It's
setup.
demonic.
Well, no, almost the setup of mass. The priest talking down to the people, not
Yeah,
talking down. A good priest is a preacher, a father. But I mean, you can see it's a bastardization of that. They're in a row.
God is going to strike these people down. I'm telling you right
Yeah.
now,
But I'm saying
He's
that's what
going to
they
strike
try to
these people
do.
down.
It's an appeal to authority. I'm in a big black robe and I'm up here on this massive oath. You are a peon, please rise. It's the same thing. It's the appeal
So
to authority.
So I remember being in a courtroom and they said, please rise. And I was like, so I didn't. I sat down. I didn't stand up. I'm not standing up. I'm not bowing down to something. I'm not showing that I have respect for someone I can't have respect for. I mean, look what they did to Tina Peters. Look what
Hmm.
they did to President Trump.
Hmm.
And the issue that I have is that we get
Daniel
sucked
Penny.
into it. We get sucked into it. We get sucked into it and we believe that they're doing the right thing when we want to believe they're doing the right thing. And then the rest of the time, we're like, it's trash. Like what they do to Trump is bad. Well, they do that to everybody. It's a trash system. The whole system's trash. It doesn't represent any value to the American people. It literally is the henchman for the Gestapo, for the crime family. That you might as well just call it the Gambino crime family. Let's go
The mo
back.
the
That's it.
modern
The
the
mob.
modern mafioso. Yeah, no, it's the
Yeah.
modern mob.
It just we are fooled into this environment. So I see what they did to Matt Gaetz. I see what they're going to do to Pete Hegseth. I see what they're
Mhm.
going to do to so many of the other people that were recommended. They're already starting with all the slander. So they're just slander, 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 slander. And then you have people like the Krappenstein brothers that are on
Oh God, I hate
Twitter. Yeah,
the
but they're
bug men,
trash.
the
I
little
mean,
bug men.
they don't have any value at all. They're leftist shills that frankly ripped off Americans by the millions, get fined, had their house taken from them, a half
They're
million dollars in
feds.
cash,
They're
100%,
absolutely feds too.
100%.
If you didn't get chewed up by that investigation, it means you're working, it means you're providing a different value now.
Yeah, yeah. So this is where I start getting into the meat of all the things that everyone says and saying, well, we're headed into a very difficult, dark 4 years. We thought it was going to be dark with Camel Toe, Kamala. Yeah, it's going to be just as dark here because the swamp on both sides is going to work against it. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the first 2 years. Let me just do it. First of all, if we don't get rid of the machines in the first 60 days, we have no chance of getting rid of the machines in the mail-in ballots.
Yeah,
It
because
has to be the first thing on the
after
list.
that is midterms, and then it's never
I,
going to happen.
I'm literally I'm going to burn all of my relational capital to get a chance to sit in front of President Trump and say, "Sir, these are the three things that you have to do." That's why this white paper is so important to me. This and
No,
it's
I'm with
why
you. I'm with you. That window too. It'll never happen again.
you have 60 days. You have based on transparency and security, it does not transparent nor secure. HAVA does not require has requires these things. The fact that you have people that are openly violating it and you have no transparency on ballots being printed or shipped. There's no sorts of logs. There's no sorts of oversight. They can do it with impunity. They can send. All you need is one bad person, and you have a system that the American people don't understand. Here's what they understand: paper ballots in person. Got to have an ID. Got to be a citizen. The voter rolls need to be absolutely purged and brought back to. If you're an American, you have a Social Security number. We can prove you're a citizen. Then you get a ballot. Otherwise, you don't. Period. How easy was that?
It should be no more, no less of a process than getting on a plane or going into the bank and doing a physical deposit. You don't have any second thoughts. When I go into Bank of America, I'm never like, I hope someone else didn't come in here and say my name's Tommy Carrigan. No, I'm like, there's security cameras, guards, go ID, number, backup code, confirmation. It should be no, I don't go to the airport and go, oh, a different Tommy got on the flight. It should be no more, no less of an operation. And are those things operations? Sure, they're a little bit of a headache. Are they impossible? No. It's going to the airport. Yeah, you got to get there an hour early. It's just part of the day. Why should voting be anything different? And it's every 4 years,
Every 2 years.
2 years. But my point is you do it going on a flight. It should be no different. Go sign a lease for an apartment. You got to take 20 minutes and sign some shit. It should be no different. It doesn't have to be the end of the world.
They want to create a convenience because it opens up the door to a lack of transparency. The American people are actually not stupid at all. The American people are sick of the slander. They're sick of the defamation. They're sick of the impugnment of everyone's character. There's a reason why there's a place called Sin City, and the people like going there, right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? No, it doesn't really. That character carries its way back to your home. And the things that I look at specifically on my side that I'm just laser focused on is how do we get to a place where the American people can be heard? And by the way, if you want to run it off the rails like they did in 476 AD, God bless you. Go do it. God will deal with you just like he dealt with the Romans back in 476 AD. He's gonna do the same thing. You're doing the same thing. But bro, even what they said about the climate was the same in 476 AD.
I didn't know that.
Climatic changes. Go look it up. Same thing. It's the same ruse. They didn't have carbon footprints back there. They weren't hanging out with oil. Maybe they were. I don't know. Oh, they didn't write about it. How's that? But here we are, 1,500 years later, and we didn't learn our lesson. Why? Because the devil has the same scheme. It's over and over and over again. Do you feel like you're get rejuvenated when I come on your podcast, or do you feel
Yeah, I
like,
get
oh,
jacked up. No, I love it. I get jacked up.
I personally believe we have to fight.
We do. What I was gonna say is I told you I have two friends who came to God. I was gonna say a third friend though. And the thing that and so the I always try to not rule out truly the power of Christ in that this is my friend. I love her, but I mean she is as far left as you can get, and she finally came out during the Hurricane Helene thing and was like, why are people cheering against them just because they're like rednecks and flannel and they're MAGA? She's like, these are people. These are, and she goes, I'm saying this as a like blue-haired lesbian cat mom with armpit hair. She's like, what are you doing? These are human beings. I texted her just the other day, and she's like, well, through the power of God alone, I've become a better person. She hands down, I've noticed since college, hands down, the farthest left person I've ever met. And she now says, well, through the glory of God, I'm a better person. So I also try to look at that as don't sleep on God. Now, it's free will and you have to want to change. That is true. That's the entire, the importance of free will. God doesn't want marionettes. But never count anyone out. And that's kind of what I've been humbled by is the two friends who've turned towards God and then the third friend. You're like, all right, yeah, no, God can do it. And so that is why I guess I'm hopeful and optimistic is because I know that truly anyone can turn back. And if you turn back, God's right there. God's not holding a grudge.
Well, there are some people that can't, that are just frankly irredeemable.
Well, they won't.
Yeah. I mean, but they're just evil. They're flat evil. Right.
I won't say anyone can, I won't say anyone can't because that's discounting the power of God. I think anyone who truly asks, and not for me and Joe, not me and Joe torturing you and saying ask God. Anyone can. A lot won't.
Yeah. I don't know. We're out of time though, bro. You got 4 minutes.
I know I gotta go to a meeting. But I was gonna say is no, you don't drain. I don't have people on that I don't enjoy having on. Every podcast is a different flavor, and all the different flavors are fun and rejuvenating, like learning. in their own ways. I don't have on people that drain me. People that drain me they just don't come back.
Time sucks.
No, you would know. You just don't come back. People are like, yeah, went on a show once 5 years ago. Yeah, yeah. There's a reason you're not.
There's a
I don't
reason you're
tell
not
any.
back.
I don't tell anyone you're not coming on anymore. You just might realize it's been a couple years since you've heard from me. No, you're not a suck. But I was gonna say because I do got to wrap it up. Could you could you lead us in prayer?
100%. By the way, I'm now back on X
Oh, you are.
at
I got banned election night
Joe Oltmann X.
at Joe Altman X. Well,
At
I have a new I have a new account, so I'm
JOEOLTMAN.
back on. But I got banned
Why'd you
election.
get banned? What'd you do?
I was saying that just because Trump won and everyone's feeling good doesn't mean we should forget about the 2020 election and the fact it was stolen and that it was apex treason and that people, all the snakes in the grass on the Trump side who were all the conservatives who were saying don't vote for Trump, he's not our guy. I said summer patriots deserve the rope. You should be in the trenches no matter what. And they called that inciting violence and saying they should be hung
Well,
to their dead.
it,
And they're
it,
right, but
mm.
I have to be maybe a little more measured. So I'm back on X for like the 90th time, but I am back. I don't
So they
regret anything I
literally
said.
kicked you off. Yeah. So
Well, I said they should be
one,
hung to their dead. I'd name some people, and apparently
you did?
that's yeah.
Okay. So don't do that.
No, and no, and no, no. They and all joking aside, they were right. I did. That is a violation of terms of service. This is not. So I get a lot of censorship. That was not censorship. That was me not being a mature adult and learning to measure myself. I take full responsibility for that.
So here's what I learned over the last 4 years is that I am capable of great violence. By the grace of God, I haven't had to do too much of it. I've had a little bit of it over the last 4 years, but not too much. But I'm capable of great violence. But I'm also learning that just not to talk about it, not to talk about the fact that the consequences will come.
Yeah,
right.
And that's on me.
And we have to be more measured because people are listening and they need to be able to take you. People will follow those people who can create strength. I wouldn't watch the movie Gladiator again. And there was a moment in which he was planning his release. He was going to fight back to give back Rome. And there was this moment when he got caught and he was betrayed by the very woman that said he would betray him in order to protect her son, that he was like, you know what? There's no way I make it out of this except for by sacrifice. Right? He sacrificed himself. But he didn't speak of the sacrifice. He just knew it. You could see it and how they actually drew it out. You could see that he knew that he was going to go join his wife and daughter, or excuse me, wife and son, and that he was going to have to make some hard choices, and he did, and he ended up killing the Roman emperor, Caesar, and then he died, but not before he handed back the keys of the empire to the people. Anyway, it's kind of a quick story.
No, that's on me. That is entirely me not learning to shut up.
I now take a deep breath and I'll stop myself from sending something. So people will say stuff to me and I'm like, all right, that's fine. Good on you.
Yeah.
Like I'm done with just it's okay. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. That's nice post. Good.
Yeah.
All right, let's pray.
Okay.
Oh, Father God, thank you for this time that we got to spend together. Thank you for Tommy for having the diligence to push forward on his broadcast every single day. Father, thank you for the message that you stretch out through people like Tommy, through myself and others. Thank you, Father, for having us born at a time such as this, and thank you for the many people around the country and around the world that are standing up for the goodness of restoration, restoring you again to our community and to our country. Father, I just ask you that you give us the strength, the wisdom, the tenacity, the stamina, and also the humility to lead and to walk into battle to defeat the evil that has been in front of us for so long. Help us, Father, that we may have the courage to stand and to speak truth, and that we may follow that truth no matter where it may take us. Father, we know that we will have sacrifices to be made, and we know that as we go into January, that this is just the beginning. It's not the end. It's not the finality to this restoration. It's just the beginning of making sure that we can lose our tolerance for those things that are evil, that are justified in our society, and have the patience to be able to push forward with the goodness that we want our children and grandchildren and future generations to embrace and to enjoy. Father, I just ask you to give us the strength to love on our families, to contribute to this restoration, but to do so in such a way that we don't alienate each other on petty differences. So, Father, please help us that we may just do the right thing and follow you. I ask these things, Father, humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Yeah. Joseph Oltmann, Mr. Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Thank you for your time, brother.
You ever seen the one where it says, "Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Yeah.
I am going to snap my fingers. And when I snap my fingers, you will forget you are ever gay."
Ever gay. Yeah, I saw that one.
So
but I
funny.
wasn't. I know. But I'm not
know.
gay. I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ever for everyone listening, you are now removed. You are now relieved of the memory of just how gay you all are.
Yeah.
If you say you're not gay, you're welcome.
Ghey. Gay. Why
You are
are
gay.
you gay?
You are gay.
You are gay.
Joe
I am a
Altman.
transgender. Okay. See you later.
Yeah, brother. I love you, brother. Thank you so much.
you,
I'll
brother.
text you. We'll set up the next one. Thank you so much, guys. There it is. Why are you gay? Guys, thank you so much. Please go in the
All right.
description. I'll put your Twitter
All
in
right.
there.
Sounds good.
Until next time. Thank you so